Welcome to Thursday, October 2nd, 2025, your Day Weather Podcast brought to you by the Advocates Injury Attorneys. If you've been injured in an accident, don't face it alone. Get an experienced local Wyoming attorney on your side. Free consultations at WyomingAdvocates.com or call 307-800-1952. You deserve an advocate. As we take a look at the weather coming our way, we're going to continue to have warm, very nice, late summer-like weather here to wrap up the work week with temperatures today and Friday well above average across the Intermountain West before changes come this weekend that will remind us that, yes, indeed, it is October. Now, interdispersed in the nice weather will still be some showers and thunderstorms. This is especially true west of the Continental Divide into the Great Basin. And you'll notice the shower and thunderstorm activity really expanding eastward Friday and especially Saturday as this Pacific trough comes into the region and especially across the northern Rockies this weekend. It is going to be wet across Montana, a good portion of Wyoming, Idaho, into the Dakotas, into Nebraska. Now, initially, the heavier moisture will stay more towards the northern Rockies, just kind of slipping the central Rockies. But nonetheless, everybody will experience the wet and the temperatures that are going to be dropping. We're going to see long-term a continuation of a real struggle in the models trying to keep track of everything. So we'll kind of just take this a chunk at a time. We'll take a little bit of a look at the long-term, but we'll have to take it with a grain of salt. Some more beautiful photos coming in, this time one from Colorado Springs. As we mentioned in a podcast earlier, this is the time of year you just get a lot of reds and you get a lot of blues with the lower and lower sun angle between now and through the end of November. Still a little bit of dusting of snow in the Colorado Rockies there. Beautiful autumn scene. Another nice shot of Mount Champion there. And also, all the way back into Lander, across the Wind River Basin, everybody experiencing just some really nice weather here to start the month of October. As we go past the time frame of the next 48 hours, though, certainly the sky conditions, the clouds, everything are going to be looking quite a bit different. Now, you can't quite see the swirl as good today up here in the Gulf of Alaska. However, you can still see it very well on the water vapor image. You can see there's plenty of water available with this system, a good amount of Pacific moisture, and it's coming into the Pacific Northwest. We have some drier, warmer conditions here in the central and southern Rockies, but this trough is going to be working its way inland once we get into tonight and into Friday morning. As you can see, it'll be pushing into British Columbia, Washington, Oregon, and Northern California. Now, ahead of the trough, this is where the shower and thunderstorm activity is going to be most likely today. Kind of spotty, not widespread, but you can see back there across parts of Montana, Idaho, and into the Great Basin, there's going to be an axis of showers and thunderstorms, and you're going to see that grow and expand eastward. There it is on Friday. So Friday, showers and thunderstorms will increase across the Great Basin, across portions of the Rockies and the southwestern United States. Then on Saturday, as the system heads east, the showers and thunderstorms will spread more eastward. So you can see in the darker green shading areas is where you could have a couple of showers and thunderstorms that could get a little bit stronger. By noon Mountain Time Saturday, we have the trough coming in. We have that split structure we talked about, with the southern end bringing moisture northward and the northern end driving some colder Canadian air south. There's going to be a little bit of a standoff with the cold air, though. We have plenty of cold air coming in on the backside of the system, but this also will bring the southerly system warmer air up to meet it. So that will negate what I would call a widespread hard freeze with this system, but certainly there's plenty of cold Canadian air, as you'll see here in a minute, to bring in some pretty chilly temperatures to the plains and plenty of cold air to make it snow in the higher mountains. And this will be something that hunters across the northern and central Rockies will need to pay attention to this weekend and into Monday of next week. By the time frame of noon Sunday, this is Saturday noon, this is Sunday noon, the main trough straddles the U.S.-Canadian border, sending cold air south, but a southwest flow out ahead of this system. But what you'll see happen on the ground, What I'm showing you here is at 18,000 feet. On the ground, though, the colder air will spill along and near the Continental Divide and east out into the plains. And you'll see that on the temperature forecast. Through Friday, now this is for today and tomorrow, you can see from the central and northern Sierra through a good part of the Great Basin and up into southwest Montana, the showers and thunderstorms are going to be the most widespread through Friday evening here, getting into western areas of Wyoming. As we get into Saturday and Sunday, all of this will advance rather quickly eastward. So the cumulative precipitation for Saturday, Sunday, and Monday looks like this, very similar to what we showed you yesterday. Where the two air masses collide, we're going to see a significant amount of moisture along the Montana-Wyoming border, through parts of South Dakota, North Dakota, then getting down into the Front Range of southern Wyoming and far northern Colorado, into the northern Wasatch areas as well. Going to maybe see some heavy thunderstorm and shower activity in Colorado's southwest mountains as this system comes in and we have the collision of the Canadian air up here and the warmer, moist air coming up from the south. So it all just kind of converges here along this axis. That's why the heavier moisture is there. Now, if you take that heavier moisture and you convert it to snowfall, we see that the Bighorn Mountains, the Beartooths in particular, and the Yellowstone Plateau, the Wind Rivers, and the Uintas look to be where you see the pink is where you see the heavier snowfall. You could see the concentration of that deeper moisture there, so it won't be long to convert the rain to snow up there, and it will be heavy. So we're likely going to see advisories posted for this area in particular for significant mountain snow this weekend, but you can see it also gets all the way down into the southwest mountains of Colorado, all the way along the Wasatch and into the Sierras here. Temperature-wise, these are temperatures that we showed you yesterday in Celsius. You can see very easily the frontal boundary by Sunday morning is pushing all the way down into northeastern New Mexico and out on into the plains. The gray areas show where it's 32 degrees or less by Sunday morning. So the real coolness, so to speak, starts Sunday, and then as we get into Monday morning and as we get into Tuesday morning, you can see that the temperature readings get colder. Now, it all depends on cloud cover. If we lose cloud cover Sunday night into Monday morning and don't have much cloud cover Monday night into Tuesday morning, that will affect temperatures, making them colder. Conversely, if there's more clouds, that could keep temperatures up. But across the northern Rockies and the northern plains, certainly temperatures are going to be dipping close to that 32-degree point and maybe lower than that in some areas. And you can look, if we convert this to Celsius, from Celsius to Fahrenheit, by Tuesday morning, you can see a lot of pink and darker red areas where the temperatures are going to be getting colder. As we look at the long term, again, we've got a lot of disagreement. Now, this is what we've been doing is we've been choosing the day on Thursday to kind of represent kind of when the next weather systems will be moving through. There's a fair amount of disagreement between the European suite, the U.S. suite, and the Canadian suite. The European model, this is one thing that we talked about yesterday, and we'll talk about this some more. There is a tropical wave that is going to be forming down here off the southwest coast of Mexico. It'll either be a tropical depression or a tropical storm, maybe a hurricane, we'll see. It'll be forming this weekend and into next week, and it does show, as you can see in this little circle right here, it wanting to come up in the northwest Mexico, then possibly turns into the southwestern United States at the end of next week. This would add a lot of fuel to the fire in terms of bringing moisture into the equation. The next low, according to the European, wants to come into the Pacific Northwest and kind of stay there, which would keep this part of the region, the central Rockies and plains, in a warm southwest flow. So after the storm system brings colder weather, temperatures would then rebound. However, there's a lot of disagreement, so take everything with a grain of salt. The AI version actually backs this thing all the way back up into the Gulf of Alaska. There's your tropical system right there, further south, and it builds a high pressure ridge over the region instead of a trough. So we've got opposites. The GFS model is nowhere close to the other two solutions in terms of what's going on across North America, and the Canadian model is showing a similar situation. Now, longer term, the European model is showing right around the middle of the month a bigger push of colder Canadian air. But again, take this with a grain of salt. But if something like this happens, then you're looking at significant cold coming in by the middle of the month. But we'll just have to wait to see. The long term is still a bit of a problem past 5 days, and it will likely continue to be that way here for a while. In the meantime, enjoy today and tomorrow. Changes for the weekend.